What's up, homegirls? ¿Qué onda, morras? Buenos días, tardes, o noches, since I don't know when you're listening to this. I hope your day is going good, or at least better than yesterday. Welcome to Te Crees Muy Muy, the podcast para las homegirls who are healing, growing, and figuring life out, sin plan, con flow. I'm your host, aka your Chicana homegirl from Cali, Stephanie, and as always, muchísimas gracias for pressing play and hanging out with me. And your reminder of the day, morra, el tren no se fue, tú vales oro, no migajas. Agárrate las pestañas y vámonos. Now, let's get into it. ¿Qué onda, pinche gordas, ballenas, fat bitches, tortas? How are y'all doing today? How did that make you feel? If you're skinny, did you react like, what the fuck, pinche vieja? Yeah. Welcome to a tiny taste of what fat women go through on a daily, especially just existing on social media. Anyways, I'm glad I got your attention. What's up, homegirls? ¿Qué onda, morras? Welcome to episode 17. Thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. You know the drill. I got my script ready to go. Don't forget to follow on TikTok and IG under Te Crees Muy Muy podcast. Okay, let's get into it. This episode is about why society is obsessed with fat women, but I'm specifically talking about the Latino side of things. I can't speak for other cultures. I'm coming from the Chicana Mexican American side of things. This episode means a lot to me, and you'll hear why later. I'm turning 40 next year. I'm a chavarruca and a millennial, and diet culture, that was our whole childhood. It never really goes away. We are conditioned by society that skinny equals beauty, white equals beauty. Anything else is kind of like, we can tolerate it, but not really. So imagine being a woman of color and fat. Dios mío. I grew up with Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, the South Beach diet, the Atkins diet, the HCT diet, low carbs, carb cycling, cabbage soup, smoothie cleanses, just to name a few. Oh, don't forget Herbalife. Damn, that was exhausting just saying it. Eating less and exercising more, but don't you dare lift weights because that's going to turn you into a man. Puro 1,000 calories and cardio was the way. Being a preteen, or honestly just being a woman, was already tiring when society didn't accept your body. And the wild part, we didn't even have social media back then. It was about TV shows and magazines doing the damage. So many of us grew up with family members throwing comments around like, ay mija, te estás poniendo bien gorda, bájale las tortillas. Because remember, carbs are the enemy. Or the classic, si no le bajas a la comida, nadie te va a querer. Some Latino parents didn't know how to handle their daughters being overweight. So like a lot of parents, the diets came with frustration. It started in the home, and then society took over. I'm just a random ass first-gen Chicana. I'm not a medical professional, not a health expert, but I've seen my own community call fat women tortas, ballenas, gordas, panzonas. Why is Latino culture so mad that fat women exist? Why do men, and some women, care so much that they feel they need to comment, cállese pinche vieja gorda, váyase a correr, on a video where the girl is talking about her makeup routine or announcing that she got accepted into college? How does her body affect that moment? Why are men who are in relationships going to single women's profiles to comment on how they look? You're so in love with your queen. Leave them alone, bro. There's a trend I noticed, and a Black creator talked about this. I wish I remember her name. She said that men love to talk about how they never date single moms. Okay, that's your preference. We all have them. That's fine. It's all good. But all your comments and your energy is about bashing single moms. Just because you don't want that, you don't think other women should want that either. You spend so much time focused on what you don't like instead of what you actually want. Same exact concept with fat women. You've got meme pages dedicated to calling fat Latina women tortas. A lot of them aim at Chicanas specifically. That used to be more of a Latino and Chicano thing. Then some comedians started going on non-Latino podcasts and bringing that term with them. Now you've got people of all backgrounds using it. It's spreading. And the fucked up part about that, a lot of these men talking shit, their moms, tias, abuelitas are fat too. I'm not shaming anyone. I'm just saying the truth. And some of those men, yeah, they're also fat. Like my dad says when he gets mad, ¿a qué estamos jugando? You want to call me a torta? Okay, that's cool. You're a pinche pambazo then. Let's keep it real. Why are people recording fat women just existing, living their lives? At a baile, at a bar, just having a good time, and posting it to meme pages with captions like, the tortas are out tonight. And then everybody piles on in the comments. Poor girls. And the crazy part about it, there are pick-me's in those comments too. No que I'm a girl's girl. Fat women will go on social media and document their weight loss journey. Applaud them for that. It takes guts. Then here comes some comments from complete strangers. Once again, shocker, not really. Mostly men. There's no way you're lifting all that. Or I don't see a difference. When they're being straight haters, you could clearly see a 50-pound difference. Either way, fat women lose. Some men in the fitness space are actually cool, and they'll say things like, hey, have you tried adding more protein? Or if you're struggling with this, try that. That's super duper helpful and constructive. But then here come the other ones telling her that what she's eating is trash, that her food choices are wrong. Hot take, la food does not have morals. There is so much disordered eating in the online health space, and nobody wants to talk about that. And can we talk about how we as women praise fat women for showing up online? You're so brave. How do you do it? Bruh, they're just existing in their bodies and living their lives. How come we don't say that to skinny women? Damn, Gina, if you know, you know. You're so brave. How do you have the confidence to show up online as a thin woman? That never happens. And look, if you want to lose the weight, do it for you, not for a man, not for approval, not to be accepted. If you feel like losing weight is going to make you feel better, lighter in your body, then do it. But how about we start fixing our relationship with food first? Instead of eliminating carbs, try adding a walk and one vegetable. A lot of us never mastered the basics of a balanced meal before we started pushing ourselves with restriction. Now, let me talk about something that doesn't get said enough. The way fat women are treated when it comes to love and dating. Society makes it seem like fat girls can't get it, but that's far from the truth. I had an uncle tell me when I was a teenager, he asked me, ¿Dónde está el novio? And I was like, no tengo. He deadass looked at me and said, no te preocupes, vas a encontrar a alguien que te quiera así. I was shook. Like, thanks? That comment right there, that's the message a lot of us got growing up, that we should be grateful if anybody wants us. That is love conditional on the size of her body. And then on the flip side, some men fetishize fat women and hide them like a secret. I've seen the comments. Men say things I'm not even going to repeat. And mujeres, I say this with love. Please don't be with the man who hides you. Que culero. Vales oro, homegirl. You're worth gold. And that stereotype that fat women will go with any man who gives them attention, weight has nothing to do with it. That's just people in general. They just love tying everything back to body and weight. Okay, I'm going to get personal for a second. There's a lot of fat phobia in our community, and men will say that if you call it out or defend fat women, you're part of the problem because you're promoting obesity. Bruh, how does a fat woman existing affect your life? Help me understand that. That is one of the reasons I'm a faceless page, and I honestly don't know if I'll ever get comfortable enough to show up on camera. The fact that I even have to say that is crazy, but I don't have the thick skin for it right now, and that's just where I'm at. Ahí les va a story. Back in 2016, I lost 60 pounds on my own. I went from 265 to 200 pounds. That's 10 years ago this November. I was proud of that. Then in November of that same year, I went to go see the Raiders play in Mexico City. By the way, shout out to Raider Nation. I still can't believe we traded Max Crosby to the Ravens. But Raiders are gonna Raider. Anyways, I got sick from las aguas frescas from the hotel. I completely forgot the no tap water rule, and I almost didn't make it to the game. I recovered, we went home. Then about 3 months later, or maybe even 4, no me acuerdo, around February or March of 2017, my digestive system, y'all, just went to complete shit. And it's been like that ever since. 10 years with no real relief. I lost all my hunger cues. I lost another 50 pounds from not eating because I went 40 days without being able to eat. I wouldn't throw up or anything. I just no tenía hambre. No podía comer. I got down to, I think it was like 145 or 155. No me acuerdo. And it was hell, y'all. No estoy exagerando. I was slowly dying because the doctors cannot figure out what the fuck was happening to me. And I'm in the Bay Area, y'all. So I have access to Stanford, UCSF, all these digestive, like, me mandaron a una digestive clinic that specializes in, like, different stuff del estómago. So we're beyond and past, like, me seeing a gastroenterologist, which is crazy, right? Anyways, I couldn't eat. I was nauseous all the time. I couldn't even really drink water. If I did, it would be baby chugs and that's it. The most I could eat the whole day was like a palm full of like steamed rice and maybe half of an Orgain protein shake. Even till this day, y'all, those shakes hella trigger me, dude. Y celery juice también, because I would chug a celery juice que my mom would juice for me. Y y'all, even till this day, fuck, like I get hella triggered, like freaks me out. But anyways, I eventually started eating again, and I gained all that weight back within 2 months or even less. Then they tested for me in between that time, or actually I should say that about the beginning, they tested me for gastroparesis 3 times. So for y'all who don't know what that test entails, hey homegirls, before you keep listening, did you know I made y'all a journal? It's a short, cute, 15 pages pa que no andes toda confundida. Sí, un journal. It's called El Journal de Mis Life Shoulds. It's not a miracle fix. Let's keep it real. It's not a whole heal in 10 days type of thing, because let's be real, you've been carrying all this shit since you were younger. It's a small, simple tool to help you check in with yourself instead of bottling everything up. I made 2 versions, PDF if you want to print it and actually write it, like right inside, or a Google Doc if you want to do it from your phone. Think of like heal on the go, right? And girl, si tienes tiempo de andar ahí stalking your ex-boyfriend for 20 minutes on any social media platform, you got time pa esto. Y esto honestly, it's better for you. The link is in my bio. Now, let me go ahead and get back to this episode. It's basically un gastroenterologist te pides el examen. They give you scrambled eggs, toast, and orange juice, and le ponen a little bit of radiation. And every 2 to 3 hours, they space it out. No me acuerdo if it's like 3 hours, then eventually 2. No me acuerdo. But they put radiation in the food a little bit. Y between, like, let's just say every 3 hours, they're taking pictures of you, like of your stomach, like, not pictures, ¿cómo se llaman? I think they're either MRIs or CT scans, no me acuerdo, to see cómo va la comida bajando so they can track it. So they're either looking at it if it's too slow, or if it's too fast, or if it's normal. All of them came back normal. And the crazy thing is that I shouldn't say that. Some people, and I know it's a really small like percentage, that are doing the weight loss shots, like the what's it called? Wegovy? I don't know. Ozempic and all that stuff. Very few percentages develop gastroparesis. So gastroparesis is basically que tu estómago está paralizado y comes bien poquito. Some people like hella vomit and stuff because it's damaged. I believe it's damage to the vagus nerve. Some people who have diabetes les da gastroparesis, but hay diferentes niveles and stuff. It's crazy. And then some people say that it's called the gastric emptying test. Look it up if you want to. Y some people who have gastroparesis say that test is not really accurate anymore. I don't know, there's like a lot of debate on it, pero me hicieron ese test 3 different times and it came back clean, you know. También they tested me for like worms, blood work. I was doing all kinds of stuff, and a couple times I had to go to the ER to get IVs porque I couldn't be drinking a lot of water. And here's the thing, you guys, that like me decepcioné mucho in the from like the medical system, I guess you could say. I've never been those type of patients que a huevo me tienen que encontrar algo. Like, I go to the doctor ya cuando ya no me aguanto, like the pain or whatever I'm going through. I shouldn't be like that, but I'm just like that, okay? I try to do my physical and stuff more recently and stuff. And for a long time, les tuve mucho coraje y resentment a los doctors because they couldn't find anything wrong with me, right? Which is in reality, a good thing que no tiene nada, right? My sister was doing her first communion, I think, and my youngest sister. I went to the emergency room and they ended up giving me an IV, me sacaron sangre, and they just said that some of my like minerals or whatever were, I think it was minerals or vitamins, no me acuerdo, were a little bit down. And they told me that I just had to try and drink water, aunque no podía. It was just hard. The fucking ER doctor, y'all, goes into my room and she's like, we're going to give you an IV, but don't make it into a habit of coming into the emergency room every time you feel sick. La muy perrucha me dijo eso. I couldn't even look at her, y'all. I was just so fucking sad and so tired because it affected my sleep too. Made it on the IV. I think whoever gave it to me, and eventually like I left. And here's a fucked up part that I remember about that. So I was hella skinny. One of my cousins who I hadn't seen in a long time, she sees me and she goes, "Ah, perdiste mucho peso. Qué bien te ves." Bitch. Not her, obviously. But I was like, oh my gosh. I just kind of nodded. No one had any idea what the fuck was going on. And I know she didn't do it like in a bad way or anything. But that's why too, y'all, we need to stop making comments about cuerpos ajenos. Y'all have no idea what people are doing behind the scenes to lose weight. You know? Like if they bring it up, I'm excited, I lost 50 pounds or whatever. Or not unless it's like a really big concern that like out of nowhere and say, hey, you know, I didn't want to bring this up because it's none of my business, but I have a concern. Veo que estás like, you have lost weight. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? And maybe they'll say, oh, thanks for or whatever. You can soften it up. But that's if like you're really, really, really concerned. Like you just saw them a couple months ago and they lost hella weight out of nowhere. Well, that's concerning, right? But yeah, anyways, let me get back to this. So I did all these tests and no me encontraron nada and stuff. So basically right now I've been on my own ever since. They gave me Zofran, which is a medication they give to cancer patients after chemo so they can eat or be able to deal with the nausea. I was told that I might have a mind and gut disconnect since the nausea, for those of you who don't know, actually comes from your brain, not from your stomach. So I've had chronic nausea for about 10 years, among other things. Anyways, I'm in therapy. I'm working through my self-esteem stuff and other issues and relationship with food. I've never had an eating disorder, and my heart goes out to anyone who has had an eating disorder or is actually dealing with one right now or has family members. But this illness has completely changed how I relate to food. I've lost massive amounts of weight, rebounded, lost them, and get stuck. And my body has been through the ringer. So when I'm already dealing with the flare-up, the last thing I need is people talking shit about how I look. This is my boundary and I'm sticking to it. Maybe in a few months, I'll feel more a gusto and I'll introduce myself face to face. But for right now, it's a no. I hope y'all understand. What pisses me off about all this is that there are fat women out there, badass chingonas, who could do so much and are so much good, I should say, in our community. But some of them will never share it with the world because society will crush them before they even get a chance. We are not as united as we think, Latinas. Some of us only speak when it affects us directly. And the fact that we're still letting men's opinions dictate whether we show up online, pinche patriarchy. I know hella fat women who are killing it online, but they have to take breaks because their videos end up on the wrong side of social media. And the crazy part is that both men and women will say, you signed up for this, it's fair game. Que pinche locura. Anyways, I hope you like this episode. I only scratched the surface. I'll be honest, I'm a little frustrated that I want to show up more, but I just can't right now. Let me work on my mitote in my head. That I will pop up on TikTok eventually, like just a high face-to-face introduction, I guess you could say. And you're all gonna be like, la Stephanie, la homegirl from Cali, she's fine as fuck. No, I'm just kidding, y'all. I'm just kidding. But for real, I want to meet y'all eventually just face to face. Well, through the screen, I guess you could say. And just remember, y'all, I'm a random girl from Cali trying to build a community and talk about things that affect first-gen Latina daughters. And if you're listening to this and none of it relates to you, I'm genuinely so happy for you. You've been spared. I hope you take the time to learn about fat phobia and see how it goes way deeper than weight. If you know, you know. Cuídense, perruchas. We're starting a new work week. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. Okay, what y'all think of that episode? Les gustó? Not so much? Did it make y'all ponder or just be like, esta morra no sabe nada? I just want y'all to feel seen and understood, not stressed out. Anyways, I'll catch y'all on the next episode. And remember, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. By Henry Ford. Thanks for stopping by. Share, comment, and engage. Don't forget to follow this podcast on Instagram at the Gris Muy Muy Podcast. Go engage and invite other homegirls. Let's build that community. If you want, feel free to DM me for topics. And with that, I'll catch you next time. Bye.